I make you tougher.
Yeah.
All right, guys, can you hear us all right?
We can hear you.
Okay, Jamie's on her way. Oh, she's here.
Thanks, no double. Too busy getting buckets.
Fire away.
All right, Tasha, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Well, hey, you got out-rebounded by Talon. What did you think of her crashing the glass today?
It was amazing. Like, I have no complaints about it. As long as the job getting done.
Was it pretty cool to see like another player step up and, do a job that you've done so greatly over the whole season like that?
It's actually great. Just somebody to, keep paving the way when I'm gone.
And Jamie, I wanted to ask you about a certain play that happened in the first half. Taylor was like dribbling down the lane on the left side, and then she like stopped on a dime, kicked it like way out to you for a left wing three. Do you remember that play? And like what about that play did you think of it?
Well, usually if I'm trailing behind them, I just tell them that I am. Yeah, I always tell them.
Were you surprised that she was able to like stop like that with like three people around her and get it out to you for such an easy three?
No.
When that pass was coming to you, did you know it was going in?
Yeah, I did. Open, I had to hit it.
Appreciate you guys.
Hey, Tasha. So I'll ask you first. With this being senior night, this was one of the closer games I think you guys have played this season. What does it kind of mean for this to be the senior night game, and how special is it to come out on top in a closer game like that?
Honestly, it's a great game. The fact that we had a challenge on our hands, we knew, and we put it on for senior night, and to come out on top is amazing. We stuck together the team, even though we got down by like 1 point and gave up a 20-point lead. We didn't give up. We kept fighting.
How does the emotions change whenever you are up by 20 points, and then whenever you then look at the scoreboard later and see that you're down by a point? Is there emotional swing whenever that happens?
Oh yeah, of course. Like when you're up by 20, you get a little relaxed and you're happy. But the other team, they're gonna keep digging at you, clawing at you. And so when it gets close, your emotions change, you get intense, and you realize that you really have a game on your hands.
And then Jamie, I'll ask you, whenever that momentum swing sort of happened and you guys now were it was a game and it wasn't you guys blowing them out. What did you guys do to kind of get your team composed again and start playing even tougher than you were, and then come out on top later?
I would say, really when we huddle up, you really just tell people to calm down. We're a team that we don't get too worked up. We play our game and we do what we're supposed to do. We don't try to do too much. So when we got down, we didn't get our heads down. When we got up, of course we're hype, but we always know that Iowa State is a really good team.
And then a lot of these younger players might not have experienced being in a tight game like this in a college environment. What did you tell those players specifically to kind of get them back into the flow of the game?
I didn't really have to tell them anything, really.
Honestly, you don't really have to tell them anything. They just really follow the lead.
And plus, we have been here before with K-State. With K-State, with KU, we've been there before with almost every team. West Virginia. They've already experienced it 4 times now. So they're kind of really experienced. Yeah, they're experienced for sure.
They're very mature.
And then looking at the season as a whole, this had the potential to be the second game that was decided by 5 points or less. What does that say about the team that you guys have been able to win by consistently bigger margins than 5 points?
Well, we kind of don't pay attention to stuff like that when people say things like that, or half the time we don't know that someone said that. So we just really play our game and do what we're supposed to do.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Tasha, I'll ask you guys about the team as a whole. You guys have had such a great season so far. what would knocking off the Bears in Waco to close the season mean for the team?
That would be a great win for us. We'll be more ecstatic, excited, and we had a little streak going before, regular season conference ends.
Jamie, obviously the Big 12 is such a great league, but do you think, getting a win in Waco against Baylor is the hardest thing that a Big 12 team can do?
Yes. I really applaud Iowa State when they did it.
And then my question for, I guess, both of you guys is, how do you think that this team has improved over the course of this season?
Well, we have gotten to the gym a lot and shot the ball way better. We don't get too high, don't get too low. When we come into practice, we practice hard all the time. We barely get in trouble. We really just do what we're supposed to do, and the results are shown on the court.
And honestly, we know each other's weaknesses and strengths, which helps a lot. The chemistry is there.
Yeah, for sure. And Tasha, my last question for you is: do you have a spot where you'll hang your jersey yet that you got right before the game, or is that to be determined?
To be continued. I don't know where I would hang it at yet. I'm still. That's a big old picture.
I was gonna say you're gonna need like a big wall.
I gotta think about moving some things around.
Thank you, guys.
Jamie, so I'm going to start with you. You've been playing with Natasha for about 2 years now. How would you describe her impact on and off the court?
On the court, she helps a lot with rebounding, and she helps a lot with scoring because now people are starting to double her. So that opens up for everybody else. And then when we drive, we can dish it off to her and we know she's going to catch it. We have a lot of confidence in her. I'm glad she came here and came and did what she was supposed to do and is leading us right now.
Okay, so what does her impact off the court specifically look like?
I don't know. I don't really see Tasha.
Man,
Tasha disappears.
Bro,
but she off the court, she texts us sometimes and tells us good job or we got this. When we were down on that 3-game losing streak that we had, she texted us and told us everything's going to be okay. Trust the process. The storm doesn't last forever. So
I'm always down for good eats.
Yeah, and we always know if we want to go out to eat to ask Tasha.
Okay, cool. So Natasha, great game tonight. Could you walk me a little bit through kind of your pregame and what it looked like, and did it differ from a normal game?
Well, to begin with, I walked into the locker room and, decorations everywhere. They decorated my locker, when I seen I had tears coming down. And everybody's like, oh, senior night. I was like, oh, senior night. And so other than that, my pregame is really the same, I don't really do anything pregame. I go get my ankles taped, come down, go up to the gym, and just work on my free throws until it's time to stretch and do the teamwork.
Okay, cool. So could you walk me also through kind of your thoughts and your emotions during that final playing of the alma mater?
I was really sad. I just thought this is my last time playing in this gym with the people I love. So it just kind of hit hard. Had tears coming down. Hopefully nobody's seen it on the camera.
Okay, so my final question for you is a little bit of a more generic question, but how do you feel that you played overall today and impacted this game?
I felt like I played a B-, to be honest, because the first half I had a little attitude when things wasn't falling my way, but I realized it's a team game and my teammates are playing great. And when I finally caught on to that, my attitude changed. My teammates are doing great, so cheer them on. Eventually, my shots will fall. I just have to keep trying. They keep trusting me and throwing me the ball.
Okay, awesome. Great game.
Thank you.
Anything else for the girls? Awesome. I'll be back with Coach.
Bye, y'all.
Sounds good.
Hey guys, start out by saying that as big a win as we got in here in a long, long time. The game had a lot on the line, as do all conference games, but this one was really big and so hard to play a Coach Finley team. They're so hard to guard, and they shoot at every position. They can score in every position. But proud of our staff for the game plan that they put together on how to guard. I felt like we needed to take them out of the comfort zone, and our kids forced 22 turnovers and were very scrappy, got a lot of deflections, and just a total team effort. We played as good as you could play in building the 40-20 lead, and then we let it get away and lost some momentum. And we told our players at halftime that they were going to come back and punch, and we needed to punch first. And we've grown a lot, because in the past, when we blew a big lead like that, we wouldn't come back and have the toughness to finish it off. But these kids did. They made plays. Young players made huge plays. And then the All-American and, Natasha Mack, what can you say about her? Another 6 blocks and 24 points. We were going to her every possession down near the end. Thought Taylor Collins played her best game of the year by far, not only in point production, but how she guarded Ashley Jones. Jamie Asberry, great numbers again, shooting percentage, hit some big shots, hit some big free throws. And Lauren Fields was really, really good on both ends of the floor, did a good job, especially on Donarski in the second half. And our kids were locked in. The preparation was good. The crowd made a huge, huge difference for us. Because of the situation, there wasn't a huge number in here, but they were loud, they were vocal, and it spurred our kids on.
Coach, you mentioned Taylor Collins, and I just thought it was amazing today that she led the team in rebounds. Did you have a sense, maybe at some point in the game that Taylor was going to, crash the boards that hard?
Well, I thought she'd had some freshman times lately where she was a little tentative, and it was a whole different level of aggressive play for her, getting on the boards. Ashley Jones from Iowa State is a handful, and she did a great job. But we had little ones caught on her. We switched a lot of picks out and had different people there, and our kids just fought. Our kids were scrappy. I thought when we relinquished the lead, we got on our heels a little bit, and we're playing a little tentative. But the last 6 minutes, we got back to being the aggressor, forcing steals. The and one that Lowe got was a huge, huge play. Got the steal, and I was debating on bring it out or not, but she had a head of steam and finished and got the and one, and that was a huge play for us.
And what, a super efficient night from the field offensively for Taylor. What most impressed you offensively about her performance tonight?
Well, she just, she played off of Mack. When they went doubled, a lot of time it was her man, and she got to the backside. Mack found her a couple times where she got some backside boards. She just played with a high maturity level and got where we needed her to get, and took advantage of playing with an All-American. And she was so, you look at it, Jones had 23. We switched off on some people. You think 23, that's good holding her to that, especially when they were going to her every time down the floor. And she just battled and played hard, and she played beyond her years today.
Coach, congrats on the win. Thanks for the time.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Coach. So I'll ask you. Well, there's not been a whole lot of games that I would classify as super down to the wire, close type of games like this one was. How did you feel your team was ready for this game, and did you prepare for a game like this and kind of expect it to come like this?
Our points of margin in our victories has been pretty high. I think I saw like 21 on that, so it's hard to simulate that or prepare. But we did some things in practice about advancing the ball, inbound, and getting to Jamie Asberry, letting her shoot free throws. So we work on those things, and our kids did a good job on the press break and getting somebody to the middle, and Lowe got fouled. So there were some things that they executed and shot great free throws. When you look at it and we made one more than Iowa State the way they played, I would have taken those numbers big time before the game started. So after the first half, we did a better job of keeping them off the free throw line. And then our kids stepped up and made free throws when it counted.
So to close the half, Iowa State went on a 13-0 run and really closed this gap from, I think it was 20 or 22 points. What was can you kind of elaborate more on what that halftime message was? And was there a time in the second half you had to pause, you had to call a timeout to maybe get them back on that track?
Well, we were down a little bit at halftime. Our kids realized that we let them back in the game, and it went from 20 to 7 at half, and our kids realized it, and we had to point out to them, we're ahead. We're ahead, and keep your head up, and we're just going to have to go back and do the things that we did to get the 20-point lead. And then when they took the lead with one, I didn't think there was any panic in our game. We took good shots. We got it where we needed it. And we went to Mack big time, and she came through. But there's other kids that came through in different ways. And it was fun to see them. I'm not going to say fun to relinquish a lead. It's never fun to do that, but it's fun to play that way after you get in a tight situation.
And my last thing I'll ask you is, for the most part today, tonight, the bench didn't really there wasn't a whole lot of points scored from the bench. I'm not even sure if there was any, but what did you think the impact that Iowa State had kind of focused more on that bench was? Did I say that kind of weird? I think I said that kind of weird.
Well, there wasn't a lot of bench points because we liked our matchups with our starters, and sometimes that dictates who plays and how much they play. So, we just liked our matchups, and we kept starters on the floor for a lot of minutes today. But everybody contributed. Our group of kids that don't play much ran Iowa State's plays in practice and provided a scout team that we felt like we knew what they were doing. And you don't do that unless your players on the bench are locked in and showing what Iowa State does on that. So there's different ways to help your team, and everybody 1 through 14 and our staff made a major contribution. And this is as big a win as we've had in here a long time. It does a lot for our program.
I appreciate it, Coach. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned the magnitude of those wins, and now of this win today, and now that you've won 8 of your last 9 ball games, obviously traveling to Waco is pretty daunting. But I've got to assume like you and the team feel like you guys can beat anybody in the country right now.
Can you just let me enjoy this before you throw Baylor up to me there? I'm just teasing you. I'm not going to think about that tonight. Baylor's going to win its upteenth conference championship in a row, and we're going to enjoy the day, and then we'll go back to work on them tomorrow and start preparing for them and try to continue to play well like we have. So, they're a daunting challenge, as they are every year.
How much do you think that this team has improved over the course of the season? And, what do you think that you could do differently that, might make Baylor, the outcome this time, a little bit different?
I haven't even looked at it right now. So, it's when you lose, there's always things that you can do and adjustments that you can make that gives you a better chance to compete. But, the first thing I think of is Baylor is you better get them off the glass, because their rebound differential is number 1 in the country, and they attack the glass. But, that's coming in a few days.
Coach, enjoy number 13 in the conference. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Coach, how special is it for this team to be the winningest team in Big 12 play in school history, with all the great teams that there have been throughout the school's history?
it's really special. And I don't know if, being honest, myself or our kids or our staff or the people in the community would have guessed that this would be the group that would do it. We've had a lot of really good teams here. We've had kids that have played in the WNBA and overseas, and you get a lot of wins when you got things like that. But these kids didn't put any limitations. I don't think our coaches put any limitations on what they could accomplish. And it just goes to show, if you like the people you're around on a daily basis, and you come to work and you got a desire, same goal to push together in the right way, there's no limitations what kids can accomplish.
Coach, so I was just going to ask you about Natasha Mack's off-the-court contributions to this team over the 2 years that she's been at OSU.
Just her teammates love her. And sometimes that's not always the case when you got somebody that's that dominating. And I told Mack after the game, I said, besides your great play and the type of player you are, appreciate the type of person you've been within our program, the right type of teammate. My wife loves her. I mean, I love her. She's one of those kids that after you talk to her, she makes everybody around her feel special. And that's a unique thing to do. She's always uplifting to somebody else. She always defers the attention away from herself. And that's a special quality. And she's up for a lot of awards, and any award she gets, she's so deserving. And, I want to say one other thing too. There's no doubt in my mind that Jamie Asberry ought to be first team all conference with what she's done for us this year. She's averaged over 18 in conference play, gone from 6 points a game to 18 in conference play. And there's a kid that deserves some recognition as well.
Anything else? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.